JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 4th of July 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this first Monday of July. Welcome everyone. As always in these sessions, we take a look at the markets, the technical analysis, and what to kind of expect from certain instruments that I look into. But yeah, guys, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Brokers website, which you can check out. I believe you can find something useful in there, guys. So now then, jumping into the charts, actually the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. I'll jump into IBEX in a bit, but basically here, we still have that idea working out, which I've mentioned before, the potential kind of range here scenario. So in a way, I would say that this kind of idea worked out. So we drifted below this hurdle, below the 26,666, and we moved all the way here closer. I wouldn't say the idea worked out 100%, it probably worked out around 90%, because we almost came almost very close to this lower side of the range, and yep, we rebounded from here. Now, in order to go lower, I need to see a drop below that lower side of the range, and if we do push through that 27,062 territory here on the upside, then yes, we'll consider maybe a bit of a move higher towards the upper side of this potential range pattern. Now, again, at the moment, that unfortunately that's the game plan. I get it, maybe with the upside we could be missing out on a bit of territory. You could already start looking at the upside if you want to, if we do push above that 26,666 territory, but don't forget that, like I said, we do have this obstacle here. So basically, yeah, you know, a nice good break above this would still be needed. In terms of the downside, as I said, yeah, this is what I'm looking at right now. I need to see a drop below this lower side of the range, which is roughly between the 25,688 and the 25,775 levels. Shanghai Composite, guys. So, okay, this one's a bit tricky. So previously I had, not previously, but I'm still having this upside line here, which I'm keeping an eye on. It's kind of working out and not, because again, we did have some violations already of this upside line. So basically, I think that it's easier to just get rid of it because it's just a little bit in the way. And the other thing that, of course, I'm keeping an eye on are these two levels. The same analysis, guys. Nothing much has changed since last time. But basically, I need to see a clear breakthrough one of these levels before let's say considering the next short-term directional move, because at the moment we can say that although maybe we are trading above that upside line, but still we have a little range here. You could, of course, you know, draw this upside line in a different way. I mean, we could continue adjusting it. So, for example, this way. Yeah, it could be the case. However, it still doesn't change the kind of the scenario for me here. I still need to see a clear break through one of these levels, through the 3,415 level for the upside, and for the downside 3,356 territory right there. But also we have the 208 EMA right there. which yeah, a nice good break off could attract a few more sellers into the game. Now, jumping into the German index DAX, guys. So yeah, looking at this picture, beautiful move to the upside, and look at how well this 12,618.19 territory provided support, and yeah, we rebounded from this area on Friday and we pushed higher. However, this barrier here, the one that I talked about on Friday, this 12,912.13, approximately around there, kind of provided good resistance. So that means that basically, in order to go for some higher levels, well, I would like to see a push through this barrier initially, and then I will consider maybe a further move north here. However, another problem here is of course this 21-day EMA. So let's put it this way: if we do pop above this 12,913 territory, somewhere around here, and we continue to trade above it, then I'll aim for the upside. Of course, you can keep an eye, for example, another well, basically you can complicate your life with another downside line here, but again, it's very tentative, so I just rather stick to to a certain level and adjust my stop loss. So long story short, for now, if you're looking for some upside, that's the level I'm keeping an eye on. The cash index is currently trading at around 12,800 and 900 zones, so yep, not far from this barrier, above Friday's close, but still below this hurdle. So if we do push above it and stay above it, great, more buyers could join in, at least dragging this one maybe towards that 21-day EMA or this 13,378 level. For the downside, a drop below that 12,618 territory would be required, because that's the low of the, or should I say actually the lowest point of June. Yep, so that's the lowest point of June. A nice good drop below it would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially more sellers could join in, but we will only drag this one only up until the lowest point of March, which is around the 12,438 territory. Because here we might see a little holdup. However, if that gets broken, well, we do have plenty of other levels to consider here going further south. One of which is this lowest point of October of 2020 near the 11,450 zone, and then we'll take it from there. But of course, in between here, we could have some other levels, but I'll get to that point if we do eventually drop below that 12,438 zone. Now, IBEX 35, the Spanish index. So the reason why I'm picking up on this one already for like the second week in a row, because, well, you probably can see it yourselves, because we are in a very nice, beautiful range here. So as I mentioned before, and in general, when I mentioned these patterns, I say that although there might be an indication, for example, for a a certain kind of possibility to go either way, or like I say, a greater possibility to go either way, because, for example, here you could say that, okay, we are currently in the range, but the prevailing trend before, let's say, the trend before getting into that range was to the downside. So this is a little bit of like a pause, because then, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to kind of continue the slide. So, for example, if you have if you have a slide like in this case, we enter a range, we bounce around here a little bit, and then we break out through the lower side of it. So yeah, I mean, that's a good probability that could happen. However, let's see if that's actually going to be the case, because, for example, if it's going to pop above the 8,362 territory, we could move higher, and basically this could be seen maybe as a triple bottom or something like that, and then we could go a little bit higher here. Certainly there are some other obstacles which I don't want to mention yet, but not to overcomplicate our lives for now. for now. But like I said, at the moment, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this one. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here, which way we're going to break out. But again, it's very interesting. I do like such patterns, or in general, I don't really like ranges. But in this case, it's quite interesting. It's really quite interesting to see if this is going to be a continuation move here to the downside. Basically, are we seeing just a little pause here? Yeah, or are we seeing a triple bottom? But again, time will tell. At the moment, guys, just continue monitoring this one, and yeah, let's see how this is going to play out. Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, yeah, on Friday pushed higher, but of course didn't really help much because in general the week ended in negative territory, as you can see here. So yeah, it drifted lower, but still remained below the 11,750 territory, somewhere around here. The level, basically the area which I told you to keep an eye on, because basically I said that if we drop below it and stay below it, then yeah, we could go lower, and we did. We went lower. However, now we're seeing a bit of a retracement, which is fine still. The cash index, for example, is trading at around 11,520 territory, so basically slightly below Friday's close. Again, today, don't get me wrong, I mean, today is going to be closed, so the futures are running, but the cash indices, yeah, are running, but in general, the US is closed today due to their celebration. So yeah, they will open up on Tuesday, but in general, it's going to be quite interesting. The week could be quite interesting from the U.S. perspective, from the U.S. economic data perspective, because basically, let's say Friday, if you're following the economic calendar, then you know that on Friday we get the non-farm payroll numbers from the U.S., so that's going to be quite interesting. On Wednesday, there will be ISM non-manufacturing numbers. So, and also we'll get the FOMC meeting minutes. So could be quite an eventful week, I would say. From in Europe, we have. Let's say today, what's interesting here? Well, actually, not much interesting. No, today is a bit of a quiet day, relatively quiet day. The only thing is what you can keep an eye on. For example, if you do like to trade Turkish lira, the CPI numbers, the Turkish CPI numbers are coming out. The year-on-year number and the month-on-month and the year-on-year number. The headline ones, the headline CPI numbers. So the expectation, of course, is for a bigger for an increase. So the year-on-year number is expected to go from 73.5 to 78.35% inflation, guys. Okay, I mean that's quite interesting. But yeah, if you do like to trade USD TRY or Euro TRY, be very careful today in about 40 minutes or so, and yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones Industrial Average, similar story. We are still below this overall. We're still below this downside line taken from the high of the 21st of April. So. Yeah, we saw a bit of a retracement, but still the index closed in negative territory. Now, and this is the arrow that I'm going to draw. This is the arrow that I'm going to draw because, again, even if it pops a little bit higher, as long as it stays somewhere in between, like any area here, any level, stays below this downside line, I'll continue aiming to the downside. A few adjustments have to be made here with the levels, and yeah, we can continue. So let me get rid of this. So yeah, something like that. Of course, if it breaks the downside line and pushes through one of these levels that I just mentioned, basically in general, it pushes through the 32,000 mark, then yeah, more buyers could join in. DXY, the dollar index, guys. So this one continues to oscillate around that 105 level. It's not really let's say very exciting because it kind of when it's oscillating, it's just showing that it's undecided. So I would prefer to wait for this one to. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside, of course, because we're still hanging above that 105 territory. But yeah, it's I would say at the moment is just not very clear. One thing that you can keep an eye on, for example, is this. So, for example, if this is already not working, or let's say doesn't really, sparkle with you guys, so what you can do is just keep an eye on the highest point of June near the 105.79 level, and if we do pop above it, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, potentially more attracting more buyers, and yep, we could go further north, but I'll get to that point. We might go to that 107.31 level, but yeah, let's see first for now how it's gonna work out here. I'm gonna keep the 105 for now, just to see how it's gonna oscillate around it. But for the downside, for example, I would say, okay, so any move lower is still classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying, because we're still above this upside line drawn from the low of the 10th of February. But what I would prefer actually to see is a drop below the 21-day EMA, because basically here you have a like this this 21-day EMA, which provided recently good support, so that's why I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if we drop below it, then I'll consider a larger correction to the downside. Quick update on gold. Gold rebounded. Look at this on Friday, guys. I mean, this is just magical, because let me just click auto here. So look at the strong move we had here on Friday. I mean, we drifted below that 1807 territory. Well, initially we dropped throughout the whole of last week. I kept on saying that if we fall below that 1817 territory, I'll go lower, initially targeting the 1807, but if that gets cleared, my next target is the lowest point of May near the 1787 level, and boom, there we go, guys. We look at the massive rebound here we had, and we climbed back and stayed above that 1807 territory. It seems that the bulls are really trying not to give up here, and of course, don't get me wrong, it's not really a very positive picture here, because we're kind of still trading below some of these downside lines here. So but it's an interesting moment. I would say as long as it stays above that 1807 zone, there is potential for this one to move a little bit to the upside. We could go for that downside line here, and then yes, a nice good break of this downside line may lead to some higher levels. Now at the moment, like I said, we are still balancing above that 1807. If we continue to do so, I will aim for this shorter term, this short downside line taken from the high of the 17th of June, and then I'll take it from there. If it breaks, wonderful, we'll go higher, but at the moment, but only, like I said, if it stays above this 1807. If it starts falling below it again and stays below the 1807, I am kind of, I'm going to be targeting that 1787 level. Okay, WTI oil, very quickly on that one, guys. Okay, so ignore this. I mean, this is not a range that I was kind of trying to mark here. Probably I'll extend this a little bit further. This is not a range because basically this the higher, like, highlighted level, this 114.79, of course, is that highest point of 2011, which I keep on mentioning, and which continues somehow to do its job, to be honest, and and the area around it. So if you're looking for some upside, a nice good push above this barrier is needed, this above this 114.79. If you're looking for some downside, now this is where a few adjustments have to be made. Previously, I looked at this 108.33. It did work initially when I looked at it. You can see here, for example, on the 22nd of June, we dropped lower, then we, reversed from this 100-day EMA. We moved higher. So basically, it did already its job, so we can get rid of it. Now we can mark something else. Now, one of the other levels that I'm marking here, as you can see, is the Friday's low, which is around the 104.58 territory right here. So a nice good drop below it, may open the door towards lower levels, but I'm not saying that I'm going to become very, very, let's say, bearish or something. No, it's just going to be just the foot in the door, and then we could target that lowest point of June initially, which is around the 101.56. But if that gets clear, now this will confirm a forthcoming lower low and potentially could lead to a test of this 200-day EMA. So again, we'll go slowly on this one, step by step. So if you're, this arrow has to go here. This is just confusing probably. So if you're looking for some upside, then yes, like I said, I'll stick to this. I get it. Maybe we could be missing out on a bit of territory here, but to be honest, this is just, like I said, it's just very tricky with oil at the moment. It's just, it seems like it's starting to coil up. So it's basically. Something like this could be happening here, so we could be seeing this downside line, and this downside line could be part of a triangle pattern, something like this. So again, it's not an ideal one, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it's coiling up, yes, it is coiling up. So let's see which way this is going to break out to, and then we'll go from there. Bitcoin, very quickly on that one. This one's yeah, flat. In general, the crypto world right now is a little bit dead, or either dead or just flat, or just kind of not doing anything, or just kind of declining further. I keep having this level here, this 19,000. Let's round it up here to 1900, so approximately around there. So I keep on, I still have this level here on my chart, although we have violated it already a few times. The reason for that is, of course, because it's the highest point of 2017. Guys, look at this. This is that first rally, and I keep on mentioning this, and some of you are probably already tired of me kind of talking about that level. So I'm going to mark it for now, and yep, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this one for the time being. It could be quite interesting, but yeah, like I said, for now, if you're looking for some downside in general, then yes, I need to see it drop below this 17,567 territory. I'm not touching this one. Again, and with the crypto, I mean, I'm being very careful right now, and although it's very tempting to go long, however, we need to kind of face the reality at the moment. So it's not really the best performing asset class. So yeah, and it might still not be the best performing. It might stay like that for quite a while. So we need to kind of accept that as well. So. Jumping into a few pairs, guys, very quickly. AUD USD. So I talked about this one. Boom, mission accomplished. Team, we're heading home, basically. So, but no. Of course, we are now looking for some other opportunities here on AUD USD. However, it will probably require a little bit of waiting, because basically we broke the one of these trend lines. I mean, I talked a lot about this last week. In the beginning of last week, I said that wait, and wait until we break the upside line, and this 0.6850 territory. We broke that, and I said that my next target will be the 0.6777 area, which is, just to show you what that level is, it's right here, the low of the 15th of June 2020. We managed to reach that. Okay, great. Now the question here is, can we stay below this 0.6850? If we can, I'll aim to the downside again. If we cannot, maybe there could be an opportunity for some upside. This upside line has to go, no longer needed. We can keep an eye on this downside line right now, which kind of almost coincides with the 21-day EMA. So in other words, if you're looking for some higher levels, then a break through this downside line and a push through that 21-day EMA is needed. AUD Jpy, guys, AUD Jpy, also similar, kind of moving in a similar fashion, but also worked out perfectly. I kept on mentioning in the beginning of last week, I said that, look, overall, of course, we are also kind of, it seems like we're coiling up here. We're trading below this downside line, but not to forget that we're also trading above this upside line taken from the low, the 28th of January of this year. This medium-term upside support line. So any move to the downside towards that line could still be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. So at the moment we're seeing we got that breakout here. Great. Now we're seeing a bit of a retracement, so which is fine as well. If we stay below the the 92.95 level, if we stay below it, then yeah, I'll continue aiming lower, but only up until here, up until this 91.17 zone, or this upside line. In terms of the USD Cad, guys. Oh, and by the way, sorry, in terms of the upside on this one, pretty straightforward. The break of this downside line is needed. Until then, not really getting excited with the upside. USD Cad, guys. USD Cad is, look at this, how well this is playing out. And if you remember, at the end of last week, I talked about this and I said that, look, maybe we could be forming here a possible triangle pattern, a descending triangle pattern. So according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside, and you know, we can go lower on this one. We're currently at a very interesting spot. So not only is the lower side of this potential kind of descending triangle pattern, we're also, yeah, it's coinciding nicely with that 21-day EMA. So everything's just kind of, and also the low of the 16th of June. So everything, which is around the 1.2860 zone. So everything's just kind of working perfectly in terms of the support. So if we break this support, then yes, this could open the door towards lower levels, and then I'm going to aim for that 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. I'm still keeping an eye on that. So yeah, this is in terms of the downside. Now, in terms of the upside, let's not forget that maybe, just maybe, we could be seeing a possible maybe a bullish pennant, because if we class this as maybe as one pole, maybe on the weekly chart it looks better a little bit. So yep, something like that. So if we class this as one pole, then this could be seen as a bullish pennant. So, and according to all the TA rules, the bullish, this is, if it's a bullish indication, then yeah, I mean, we could break higher. So that's why I would rather stick to wait for a confirmation break before, let's say, doing anything or trying to predict here. And for the upside, I will stick to that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is around the 1.2946, a nice good pop above it. And if we stay above it, then yeah, I'll go higher. USD CHF, look at this, guys. I mean, okay, this is just amazing. In general, I kept on talking about this. I mean, this is it's just really raising my self-esteem, honestly. Sorry for bragging or anything like that, but yeah, it's because I'm very happy when something like this works out. So that's great, and I'm really enjoying this moment. So. However, of course, don't get me wrong. Look at this. I mean, we had a break through this downside line. Okay, so it was a very nice bullish indication. We pushed higher. We broke above this 0.9606 territory, but we failed to stay above it. And also, we kind of came back very close to this downside line again. So yeah, again, like if you're looking for some upside, again, would like to see another push above the 0.9606 territory, because it seems like somehow we're struggling to remain above it. So of course that's what's worrying, and that's what could still lead this to be maybe a double top pattern with the neckline being here. But again, I'm not excluding the fact that this could be seen as a wide range. So that's why, yeah, at the moment, at this point right now, we are seeing a lot of volatility, or we're seeing a lot of jumping around, and it's basically the bulls and the bears are trying to figure out what they're going to do. Either we're going to do this as a double top with a neckline here, or we're going to do this as a range, a very wide range. Either way, guys, we'll try to take the opportunity here. So I would say I would start looking at the upside again if we push through that 0.9606 territory right there. If we and we also climb above that 21-day EMA, that's great. I'll go for the upside a little bit here. If we break through the lower side of this range, guys, I mean, yes, this could open the door towards lower levels. GBP Aussie. So, okay, I've mentioned this one briefly last week, but yeah, just wanted to quickly kind of run this by you again, because it is presenting itself with a nice opportunity, and let's see if we can actually clear this highlighted territory on the upside here. So far, the 100-day EMA is providing resistance, so yeah, that's why we'll be a little bit on the careful side here. Now, in terms of the downside, I would say somewhere a drop below this area between the 1.7557 and the 1.7577 levels. A nice good drop below it may lead to a larger kind of correction here to the downside, and then yeah, we'll just go and take it from there. So yeah, pretty straightforward on this one, guys. Not much to talk about, so we're still waiting for this one to make a move. GBP/NZD, this one is quite annoying. It's interesting at the same time, but it's also very, very annoying because basically we keep on flirting with this barrier, this 1.96 territory. I kept on talking about this, and so a few times we already had these false breakouts. And look at this. I mean, by the end of the trading day, it just kind of drifts back down. So I would say, yeah, I mean, I'm still looking at some lower levels here, but only up until this upside line, because let's not forget that any move lower up until this upside line taken from the low of the 5th of April could be seen as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. In terms of if you're looking for some downside, like deeper downside here, then ideally a drop below the 1.9246 territory could be the case here. It could be a good level to watch. But to be honest, I will keep an eye on the upside line instead. Of course, considering the fact that if we do break the upside line, don't get me wrong, we could see a false breakout as well, because this is kind of GBP/NZD, and it does like to make a big move higher, and then by the end of the day, it kind of just makes a big move to the opposite direction. So yeah, but at the moment, I mean, the overall picture looks cautiously somewhat bullish, but we need that confirmation break. EURUCAD, this one's quite interesting. So after an attempt to break this downside line, which happened, so the break happened, and but we failed to move above this 1.3715 territory. So I would say what's interesting here is that I'm still keeping an eye on the upside with the downside line. Sorry, well, let's probably start a little bit better. With the downside line, I think that it's already time to get rid of it. So now it's mainly kind of some of these levels. So for example, if you're looking for some higher levels, then probably for me, I would prefer to wait for a push above the 1.3715 territory right there. But then even then, I will be very careful near this high, the high of the 4th of May, near the 1.3808 level. But given that we are very close right now to this key support zone right there, and the idea here worked out nicely, which when we dropped below this 1.3550, I said that my next target is this 1.3393 level, which we are right now kind of almost testing. So if you're looking for some lower levels, then you're probably now following the logic here. I need to see a clear breakthrough this 1.3393 level, and then we could go further south. And by further south, look how far we need to scroll here in order to find a good area, potential area for support. Basically, we're kind of going back into 2015, something like that. Yeah, I think for this I need to jump into a monthly chart. Let me just look at this. There we go. And basically, look how we continue to slide here. We are actually we're on this very important area of support right now, right there. So everything's kind of really interesting. So if we clear that level, guys, like I said, my next target is the lowest point of April of 2015, or in general, the lowest point of 2015. That's going to be my next target if we drop and stay below this area, if we continue to trade below that area. If we, let's say, drop and trade a little bit below this hurdle, and then we reverse and push higher, then yes, we could scrap the whole kind of downside scenario and maybe aim for the upside a little bit. But at the moment, it doesn't really look very promising here for the bulls, so be very careful. Euro JPY, so I need to rush through this, guys, a little bit because I'm kind of a little bit over my time. But Euro JPY, just a quick mentioning, we broke the upside line, we failed to kind of move through this highlighted territory, so yeah, we need to start kind of considering here lower levels, especially the fact that if we continue to trade below that this 21-day EMA here shown as the yellow line, then yes, I will aim lower. And finally, EURUSD. So we're trying to kind of go lower here. Maybe this could be seen as this descending triangle pattern. Either way, as long as it stays in here, I am not touching this one, but once it starts breaking either this downside line or drops below the 1.0340 level here, then now that's where I'll get a little bit more excited with some more, downside, potential downside. So keep that in mind. Okay, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really kind of did go over my time. So if you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.